Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. I can count on one hand the number of times that I have felt too nervous to approach someone and ask them one of the never-ending questions that plagues my mind. But Pink Floyd makes me nervous. It may be that their music is just so masterful and their catalog is so immense. I don't know what I should ingest next, but I'm going to go big. And today I'm going to check out the song that is played the most according to Spotify in Pink Floyd's catalog. Wish me luck. Let's get to it. This is so panned to the right.
Yes, and neither would you, Derek, this star nonsense. No, it isn't.
I'm sure of it.
There's a piece of me right now that's wondering if I have this set up wrong because this is all on the right and fairly quiet, but I think it's an effect. That's a lot louder. This is so fascinating. The way that they've brought in what feels like almost background ambiance into the song and morphed it slowly into the song is just brilliant to me. And uh, gosh, what's the word? It caught me off guard. It definitely it threw me for a loop for a bit. I could have sworn I checked all of my settings and everything was correct before I hit record, and then I was seriously doubting it, thinking I'd gone loose in somewhere, whether or not it was in here or out there. And then it just morphed, and the way that they brought the second guitar into focus there, it feels so alive and vivid. The sound is spectacular on it. Fascinating. I'm going back to the beginning. I feel this is jaw-dropping already. Right? It's almost like we're changing different channels.
Remains mercifully.
Yes, and neither would you, Derek, this star nonsense. No, it isn't.
I'm sure of it.
It's almost like a little Looney Tunes moment in there. And then I think, so answer me this question if you're with me in live premiere. When this is played on the radio, do we start right here where we got what seems like maybe the initial theme in the guitar? It's very quiet though, and again, it's panned very far to the right. Would we start there on the radio, or would we start when the center guitar comes in? But I actually don't even know if there's a good spot to cut there. Or do they start with that ambiance at first? Because this is the studio album version. So maybe they intended for it to start there. I don't know the answer to this at all. I'm fascinated. The way it has all of the distortion in the sound, like we're still getting funniness from the radio fuzz, is interesting. And then that, why did they leave those sounds in? Just to bring the raw truth of the music? As if it's somebody that's just noodling on the guitar, copying what they've heard on the radio. Love that bluesy note. So one of my life goals is to uh, build music appreciation. I feel that the words music appreciation together sometimes turn people off because they maybe have had a music appreciation course in college somewhere, or maybe just together that feels a little bit confusing. I'd like to describe it as increasing wonder in music. Wonder meaning amazement, but also curiosity. And one of the ways that we nurture wonder is by drawing attention to all of these little things and these little details. This kind of intro does that perfectly, right? The way that I got drawn into something that was quieter, it really got me into a lot of the little tiny sounds, the little fuzz. And then all of a sudden we hear somebody clearing their throat. Oh, wow, what a fascinating sound, right? If we just had somebody clear their throat and we already had a blast of sound going, I don't think it would have been remarkable. But instead, they made the clearing of the throat remarkable. They increased the wonder in that sound. This entire first minute and a half has been about increasing both curiosity and enjoyment of the different sounds that have been brought along. I'm going to go back to the beginning one more time and let it play through.
And discipline it remains massively.
Yes, and neither would you, Derek, this star nonsense. No, it isn't.
I'm sure of it.
It's like I'm begging for this sound to come closer and be clearer now. Even the swallow.
So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain? Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail, a smile from a veil? Do you think you can tell?
Oh my word. Those lyrics are so powerful. And this is one of those moments where I feel nervous again, like, oh my gosh, I am not worthy. I think this is so brilliant. It just makes you question everything, increases both wonder and curiosity. Also, a lot of self-doubt at the same time. This moment of I don't know. It's true. I haven't ever been able to see with anybody's eyes but my own. So I don't know if the colors that I see really are the colors that another person sees. That's insane. Wow. What impact in just a few seconds.
So you think you can tell heaven from hell,
I
blue
love
skies from pain?
that tone.
Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail, a smile from a veil?
Oh my gosh.
Did they get you?
I'm just gonna come back to this first set again and again because I'm not gonna be able to get over this for a long time. I feel it in my bones that this is one of those moments in music that is gonna be stamped on my soul. It's like, oh my gosh, what an incredible opening vocal line. Wow, I think you can tell heaven from hell. It's like it's true that we go about life and I feel like I'm going towards something. And I've been very purposeful about a lot of soul searching, thinking about where I want to go, and then just saying, yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Got a certain boldness, but yeah, you never, it's like you don't know. Even when you've done it, you're still not sure. Oh my gosh. Ah, I feel like I'm having an existential crisis at this moment. Let's hear it again.
Hell, blue
That, I don't know much. I know some. And that vocal expression was gorgeous.
heaven from hell.
That slide off at the end is just gorgeous. I know that it pulls at my heart.
Heaven from hell. Blue skies from pain. Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail? A smile from a veil. Do you think you can tell?
Wow.
Did they get you to
I love a smile from a veil. That last comparison that he makes. That one is especially powerful because I know that this was partly written, I think, in regards to one of their previous bandmates that left, I think had some mental health struggles. And it's so true that often people will be having these immense struggles inside, and they will have a veil, they'll have a smile on their face, and you won't know what they're going through. I think it's important to always be kind because you don't know. Somebody else could be having the worst day of their life, maybe yours too. And you might not have a clue. So just be kind, be respectful. Wow. That's a beautiful, beautiful opening. Let's do it. Let's do it one more time. I really like this opening.
hell? So you think you can tell? Heaven from hell. Blue skies from pain. Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail? A smile from a veil. Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts? Hot ashes for trees, hot air for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change. Did you exchange a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a cage?
Wow. This is soul food to me. There's something about it that just feels like it feeds the soul or the spirit. And I'm not even sure what that is. But I know that there is something deep inside me that feels like I am getting the best soul meal that I've had in a long time. I like to think about people, I guess our existences as having different elements. Maybe this comes from a church upbringing, but right, you have your mind, your body. I like to think about heart, emotions being separate, and then maybe soul in there. Soul is somehow this combination of some of these things, perhaps. I know that sometimes when I think about the heart, I think emotions, but they kind of go in the mind, and hormones affect those a lot. So there's definitely overlap between these different things, right? If your body isn't healthy, your mind's going to shut down. But I think it's important to consider different aspects of a personality because I think we need to feed and nourish ourselves in different ways. I think that music is incredible nourishment for the soul. And it can be incredible nourishment for your heart and your mind, even your body, if you're like, yeah, this is my running playlist. But this is definitely good soul music. I'm going to go into actually a little bit of that mind-heart balance a little bit later. There's a little more to that I think would be interesting to talk about within this, but let's just not get too far away from the song in the moment.
Trees, hot air through a cool breeze, cold comfort for change. Did you exchange a walk-on part in the wall for a lead role in a cage?
I love the way that there are essentially these long cries or sighs in the instruments in the background as the vocal is going. It's almost like almost just like a very slow wail, almost like somebody is finally letting down years and years of baggage.
To the train, your heroes for ghosts, hot ashes for trees, hot air through a cool breeze, cold
I think
comfort
that's
change.
I think that sound is coming from a guitar that sometimes has a bend, but the tone quality in it is just super gorgeous, and it feels like it's heartstrings more than guitar strings.
Ashes for trees, hot air through a cool breeze, cold comfort for change. Did you exchange a walk-on part in the wall for a lead role in a cage?
So much of these sounds are often approaching like subtly. We'll get a sound that sort of is morphed into another at first, and then suddenly it stands out as its own thing. It's kind of like when you're processing emotions and you're like, oh, I thought that was just a part of my sadness, and really it's another emotion that was masquerading as part of your sadness that you needed to start to work through. Often, I think people will find frustration in there or maybe anger wrapped in there as well. I'm going to come back a little bit here. So in the bottom chords of this, or sort of like I would say the bottom part there, there's almost like an organ fluty sounding instrument, but it's so carefully brought in that I didn't notice that it was its own thing at first. And then later, when there's more attacks and releases from that instrument, I finally heard, oh, that's its own. That's shocking. I've heard this similar approach several times in the music where it's like I think it has that whole existential vibe all wrapped in it, where you think you know something, and then all of a sudden you realize that thing you thought you knew was totally different.
For a lead role in a cage.
That pitch bend takes center focus, but really you have more instruments underneath it that are very interesting. Right there, that's when I finally realized those were in.
How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year.
I love the chord progression in this. Gotta give that, the harmonies are they're nuanced and they're expansive. And then I really love the way that different things are mixed in here because I have so many clear visions of where different instruments are coming in and out of. I think that's so fascinating. And then I love the way the vocals are mixed here as well. A lot of clarity, but the clarity, they feel like they're singing near enough that I could touch them, but they're not singing right into my ears. It's like it gives the person space to think and be on their own. So I feel like I'm sitting in the room with them and they're not speaking directly into my head. I like that aspect. It gives a certain like individuality to a person as they're listening to the music. It's another topic for another day. Let's go back a little bit.
How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl.
I love that
Year
line.
after year, running over the same old ground. What have we found? Same old fears. Wish you were here.
That's amazing. I love the idea of the same old fears. I feel like that's incredibly human, that often we are coming back to deal with the same old fears again and again. It's possible that there's like a certain leveling up that happens in life and maybe you finally conquer one, but I don't think that actually happens very often. I think instead what really happens is we learn how to manage or deal with our fears. And that brings me back to this idea I wanted to address at some point, which is a balance, I think, of mind and heart. And when I read that this was really partly, or if not all, about a bandmate that needed to pull away for some mental health struggles, I just really felt for that person because I've had so many mental health struggles in life myself. And I think is especially prominent for musicians. And it was prominent for me, especially in opera, because my heart was always poured into my roles. And I'm always cast as the person who dies. Right? That's just like, oh, come on. For 2 years straight, I died every single opera. And I went to a therapist and talked with them about it quite a bit. And they said, hey, you've been strengthening your heart. You've been expanding your heart this whole time, just trying to pour emotion into your voice and into your roles. And you haven't been balancing it by expanding and strengthening your mind. You really need to give your mind, boost it up a little bit so that your mind can help balance the heart. And when the heart starts to just run away with these super strong emotions, the mind can say, hold on for a bit. Let us cool down and let us take a look at these in a different point of view. That was amazing, amazing advice to me. It really helped me to get to a point where I could manage my fears and manage my sadness a lot better. That was helpful for me. I don't know if it's helpful for you, but that idea helped me find more balance and more happiness in my life. In this song, I hear, it just feels like it draws that thought of balance from me again and the longing of the heart. But then I think the intrigue and the brilliance with which the song was crafted helps to have these things in balance so I can consider life at another deeper level. It's beautiful.
Running over the same old ground. What have we found? Same old fears. Wish you were here.
Oh, there's that sneaky, fluty thing again. That is so cool the way that there's like a background crooning. What is happening back there? Oh my gosh. Wow, the layers of this and the layers of the sound are delectable. I feel like I'm eating a very fancy cake with more layers than I can count. Right? I don't know how many layers a cake gets to before you can stop distinguishing between the different flavors, but that's the kind of cake we're having right here. I'm gonna roll it back. I need to distinguish these flavors a little bit more. It's just so balanced. It's like when you go to a really fancy meal in a restaurant and eh, when you have just one bite at this like Michelin star restaurant, right? You take one bite and the experience of the flavors as it first hits the tip of your tongue. Actually, it starts with the smell, right? There's a smell, you even see it first, and that already can start generating some ideas of flavor. And then it goes through different phases in your mouth. You're like, ah, and then there's mid and there's sort of like highs and lows in it, and there's aftertastes. I love comparing food with music because I think that the taste and the hearing sense have so much in common. It's maybe even more in common than sight does with hearing. I think it's a beautiful experience that somehow triggers an almost physical reaction. Ugh, I could talk about food and music all day long. We need to do some wine pairings or mocktail pairings with music sometime soon. That is so cool. Hmm. It's like the winds of time coming to sweep us away. So this is such a fascinating emotional experience that's happening right now for me because I feel that the whole song has had a lot of questioning and a lot of emotions, but thoughts as well. It's very much inspires philosophy. But as this sweeping away sound comes along, it feels like it's almost saying everything is going to be okay. We're all going to be swept to somewhere else in the end. There's like develops a certain sense of peace, but at the same time, I think there's that piece of me that's like, no, I need to create something, a legacy that's left behind, right? And it's like saying, like, let go, just let it be, and everything will work out. Wow, I think you'll. There's so many possible interpretations for that sweeping sound. I want to hear what yours are because I think that is there's something about that sound effect and how it was placed in the music that just feels like it's taken the whole song to a whole next level. And what does that mean to you? Oh my gosh. Masterful. One more time here. Ooh, I'm gonna go before the sweeping, actually. That's where it first started to come in. I love this album cover. What does that make you feel? Maybe we're lost in a desert storm. Well, the song feels like it needs to be looped. It should be played over and over and over just to process thoughts and emotions. And if you want to see some songs that have been put on repeat on my playlist, you can check out this playlist over here. And may you fall more in love with music every day.